All right, welcome to another episode
Why
of
don't you start the show?
I Will Start the Show. Stand Up Memories. I'm Peter Bales. This is Jackie the Joke Man Martling. And boy, what a special guest we have. You can see her right there. The one, the only, the very funny stand-up comedian, Julia Scotti, ladies
Hey,
and
hi.
gentlemen.
You didn't tell me there were memories involved in this.
Yes, that's what the show is. It's about memories of our stand-up careers, and we have guests on and we share the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Oh, okay.
And things that were different in the old days as opposed to now.
No, but we're going to talk about how you are on a rocket ship right now going to the moon, your career, and congratulations. And
Thank you very much. It's weird, isn't it? I 42 years of knocking around, and all of a sudden we get one sex change, and look what happens.
that's all it takes. You know, you should write a book. It'd just be one page.
So did I tell you I had not seen the new Julia, and we had a gig together a number of years ago. And my opening line when I saw her was, "Julia, you haven't changed a bit." And she laughed at that. She laughed at that.
Of course.
And I also had a thought. Comedians kill to get a hook. Comedians would kill to get what Rodney had. I don't get no respect. But a lot of comedians are able to get their hook without major surgery.
Well, you know, it was covered under my hospitalization plan. I figured, why the hell not? I met my deductible.
Now, you didn't go through all the different things that you could get in your list of insurance claims, right? Like, you know how they have those things when you're a kid in school? That always freaked me out. Like, your insurance, you get X amount of money for loss of an arm and X amount of money.
Oh, I used to do that in my act.
Got paid more than if you died.
Yeah.
You know,
That was my joke.
$12,000. If you die, your parents get $3,000. You know.
When I first started doing stand-up, I had written a whole bit about that where, you know, it was worth more in parts. If I, you know, it's the truth.
Well, our audience, which is presumably watching from all around the world, we need to say flat out that Julia Scotti is a transgendered woman, correct? You correct me if I'm wrong. And
That's close enough. Yeah, that's good.
well, I want it to be exactly that's what it is. And
yeah, I am transgendered. Yep.
You are transgendered. And you
Yes.
are a woman named Julia Scotti and a terrific, terrific stand-up comedian.
Thank you.
And you're having a lot of success right now. And congratulations on that. I mean,
Thank you. It's been quite interesting to, you know, from my end of it to watch. You know, there's moments when I just sit back and I go, how the hell did this all happen? Because I never intended to come back to stand up. I was
no,
teaching.
you didn't. You really thought you were not. You had the sex change, and then you thought you were done with your stand-up career.
Well, I pretty much was going to get out anyway. I had done 20 years. I sounds like I was in prison. I'd done 20 years, and the governor came through with my pardon. And I became a teacher because I wanted to just sort of settle down finally. But you know how comedy is. You know, you can check out anytime you like, but you can never leave.
Yeah.
And
you're addicted.
No,
Yeah.
Once it gets its hooks in you know.
It's not like any other profession. I mean, there's nothing to compare it to. So everything else pales by comparison.
It never fails to amaze me. The people that you started with 40 years ago, everybody is still, it amazes me when I see somebody's name or go somewhere here or there. And people that, like, from way back that weren't even, you know, like, why are you wasting your time? And they're still doing it. And, you know, I'm not going to name names, but like, holy mackerel, how the hell did that person eat all these years? You know?
I don't know. I see some of those names too. And oh God, really? You're still doing stand? Oh, well, that's good.
And some of them go to the moon, you know, which is also interesting, you know, like.
Wait a minute. Isn't that what you said about my career? Are you saying I suck, Jackie? What am I still doing here?
Julia, so it must have been scary to get back on stage again as a woman. Did you psych yourself up? How long did you delay? Were you ready to do it right away?
No, it was really kind of by accident. You all know Chris Rich, right? You two guys know Chris Rich, the comedian from Philadelphia.
Yes.
She's very good, very old friend. What, Jack?
What'd you say? Whose name?
Chris Rich.
Chris.
Philly comic, Chris Rich.
Yeah,
Oh, I
Christine
don't know
Rich.
them.
Yeah, well, anyway, she's an old friend, and when after about 10 years of being out of it, I got in touch with her. I said, "How'd you like to do lunch?" We went and had lunch, and somewhere in the conversation, she said, "When are you coming back to comedy?" And I said, "I'm not coming back. I'm almost 60 years old. I'm a transgender. Who's going to want to hear what I have to say?"
Julia,
So
I had no idea that you had been out of it for 10 years. I
I
had no
was,
idea.
yeah. That's how much of
I've
an
lost
impact I had the
track
first
with
20.
everybody, but so you
What?
just didn't do it for 10 years and then had the sex change and like, what the hell?
I was going to college. I graduated in 2000 and I started teaching, and that's when I began the transition in 2000, actually 1999. And so I taught for almost 8 years, and about right around 2011, I had this opportunity to come back to stand up. Chris Rich, she was working at the Comedy Works in Bristol, Pennsylvania, and I had worked there many times. And so she said, "Why don't you come back and do a set?" I said, "Why not?" It was scary, yeah, for sure.
Now, do
But
you find the audiences love your new material? You have to have new material. You're going to talk about who you are now.
I went back with two criteria. I wanted to be totally truthful and fearless. Those were the two criteria I had, and that included, just speaking about being trans. And so although that's not, if you've seen my act, that's really just a small chunk of what I do. So the audiences have been, I was just in Florida with Carol Montgomery, and we it was about I introduced it about halfway into my set, and these older women just sort of sat there when I announced that they were, oh, so some know when they come. I have fans who come see me, and then others just don't, it's like surprise.
Is there anybody in the audience that knows you from 10 years ago?
You
Like
mean
at
when
the
I was Rick
at the
Scotty?
How long
Comedy
ago?
Works.
How long ago was the transition?
2000 2000. I began
Okay,
it
so
in 1999. Yeah.
yeah.
So 23 years ago, basically.
So Jackie's asking, does some people remember the old you, I guess, at your shows? Probably
I've
not.
had
right?
only maybe, I think one person in all these years has said that they had seen me as Rick years and years ago. I'm sure, there have been other people, but, I did well in my previous incarnation, but I wasn't a household name or anything like that. So
You were funny. You
thank
were.
you. Yeah. That's funny you said that, Peter, because I didn't know I was. I mean,
You
I'm
were.
here. I didn't believe you.
Remember the tough shows we had at Dangerfields together?
Yes, I do.
You
I
know,
thought
you
that
paid
was
your
because
dues.
I definitely paid my dues. No question about it. But you're never sure your talent, especially when you're young.
But isn't stand-up like swimming, and it doesn't matter what your gender is? I mean, when you started up as Julia, all of your previous experience still came into play. I mean, you knew,
And your fears
and your fears and your
anticipations
insecurities.
Well, sure, but it's funny when you're sure of who you are internally, which is what I now was. I'm so comfortable in my skin at this point that going on stages, Julia, yes, it was a little nerve-wracking because I was rusty and I had to shake the rust off. And you're right, Peter, I had to write a whole new act basically. But that's just called being a comic.
Yeah.
So, my skills came back 6 months in. I started to really feel in control on stage again, and all that
You're
stuff
so
that I
good.
learned.
You draw them in. Like I worked with you once or twice, and tough gigs, like firehouse gigs, and you just draw them in so instantly. It's like it was a joy to watch. It was really great.
Thank you. Well, you kind of do that too. You guys kind of do that too. I mean, especially you, Jackie.
Well, I'm sitting there going, "Crap! I got to follow her."
Oh, please, really. I always felt like it was kitchen table comedy. The best laughs I ever got were sitting around drinking coffee and just yakking, And I've tried to translate that to the stage, and it's working out pretty well.
Right, that is the trick to get, to sitting around the diner, sitting around with your family, sitting around with your friends. That degree of relaxation and reality, and boom,
And the thing too, when I was a musician like you were, I was a drummer. I started out as, and I remember when I played, I was a jazz drummer, and sometimes you get so into this altered state of consciousness when you're playing that you don't even realize what's going on around you. I can get into that now on stage when I'm performing, to the point where I'll do a lot of ad-libbing during my act, but I don't remember it when I come off stage. It's like somebody has to tell me that I did something. It's kind of weird, but it's a very focused way to work.
What's wonderful about your current act is you get some laughs openly about being transgendered, but then you can talk about anything you want to talk about. It doesn't have to be related to be.
No,
The world is your oyster, in other words, when it comes to material.
I told them, I've told this in a million different interviews, because I always was getting labeled as transgender comic Julia Scotti, and I go, look, that's only part of who I am, and my act is that way too. I devote maybe, I don't know, 6-7 minutes to it, but then I'm talking about,
Everything.
being old and dying and almost dying, heart surgery. I did, that's my entire life is up there.
You have such courage to do what you did. And I feel so sort of cowardly because I only wear the female underwear under my clothing.
I have never told anybody. I've never told anybody. I know that about you, and you don't know.
How do you know that? You know that?
Everybody
Awful
knows,
fan.
Peter. We all know. It's no secret.
Ah, but you are so funny and you're working so much. Julia Scotti, when she's out performing near you, I want to say to all of our listeners and viewers, go see her.
I just saw, I don't know social media enough to know where I saw it, but you're doing a show with I think 2 other people, maybe Carol Montgomery.
Oh,
and somebody else.
you can see the poster behind me. It's the Funny Women of a Certain Age show.
Yeah, that's what it was. And you were saying,
yeah.
oh, we just did our first show and it was sold out or something like that.
We sold out 3 shows in Delray Beach, Florida. It was
Wow.
fantastic. Yeah, all matinees too, by the way. Which was really interesting.
That little theater in Delray Beach,
Yeah,
that's
Yeah.
a great. What did
I
it
loved
used
it.
to be? Something weird. It used to be a firehouse or something, or a school.
I don't know. This theater's been there for like 100 years. This place, Delray Beach
Wow.
Playhouse. It's been around forever. But you're right. It's a terrific. There's actually 2 theaters in there, and one's a smaller one. We were in the smaller one, like 200 seats or something like that. But they were terrific.
All right.
So that was that. And
Funny women of a certain age.
Mhm.
And when you're on the show, it's funny women of a really certain age. Right.
Yeah, of an indeterminate age.
Julia,
Yes.
I'm deadly serious about this. And I think it's so terrific what you've done, and you should be so proud. But I believe in America today in 2023, I would hope that you have gone about your life and been just welcomed by, and in your business, by comedians, by club owners, by audiences. Do you feel that it's been welcoming? People have been it's 2023. Let's do it. Let's do it right. Do you feel like that's happened to you?
When I'm to my face, yes. And the people that come see me have been wonderful and loving, and really, they know what I am and who I am. But there's that current Peter out there that
Yeah.
and
Let's
and
face
those
it,
people don't come to my
Idiots,
shows.
idiots are going to be idiots.
Of
They
course.
just are.
Of
Whether it's
course.
about you, whether it's about this, that, or the other thing.
My goal, I guess at my age, is to just go out there and show people that I'm a human being. Unless I'm hurting your life personally, you have no reason to hate me. Judge me by what I am and who I am, and did I make you laugh? If I suck as a comic, then tell me I suck as a comic.
Yeah, but
That's
you
fine.
don't. You don't.
No, but you know what I'm saying.
I know. I do know what you're saying, but
You want to
you
deal
are
with
so
the
funny.
reality of the situation. That's all. Because that's
Just
what it is.
Martin Luther King said it: content of character. That's all you have to judge me on. you know, if I'm a bad human being, then don't. If you hate trans people, don't come to my show. I'm not
Right,
going to be
right,
offended.
right. I
you know.
got you.
Yeah, it's
Well,
like
you
I always tell people, they say, "Oh, you tell dirty jokes." I say, "Well, you know, but that's what I do. If you don't like opera, don't go to
Right.
see an opera, you idiot.
Exactly. You know.
Listen to them. They keep singing and they won't shut up. That's what they do, you know.
Yeah.
What are the odds after all these years that, and I'll get in a plug, but that you're represented by Omnipop, and that's my girlfriend. She's a partner in that. The odds of that are kind of crazy, right?
Well, I have busted Tom and Genio.
Tom and Jagno
partners.
is the I think the head partner at
Yeah, the other
Omnipop, and he's a to people watching and listening, he is a comedy manager and agent, both.
Right.
But him and Barbara are
Partners,
Klein are
Barbara
equal
Klein?
partners,
Oh,
equal
they
partners.
are. Oh,
yeah,
Barbara Klein.
absolutely equal.
But I for years badgered when I was Rick. I badgered Tom to take me on as a manager. It's never. My roster's too big. I can't take it. And then when AGT happened, we needed. I was working with another manager, and we needed an agent because we were getting offers, and I didn't want to get screwed. So I called Tom, and I said, "Well, you want to just handle my bookings?" He goes, "Yeah, okay, I could do that." And that was like, I don't know, 11 years ago, 10 years ago, something like that. And so it's been good. It's been a good relationship with
That's
him.
great.
I love him dearly. Yeah,
He's just him and Barbara are both really great people.
they
and
are.
so honest and so
Mhm.
forthright and straightforward, which has no place in this business.
None whatsoever. You would think, in a business where you're constantly getting screwed by other people, these two are the most honest people I've ever met in the business, inside the business and outside.
So
I love
Julia,
it.
I like to ask comedians that come on our show, you have a lot of highs. We all know that the shows are fun, but sometimes it's funny or interesting to hear about the disasters. We all, when comedians go to the diner, most of the shows, 99% of the shows are great, but we talk about the nightmare show. Do you have a
Yeah,
nightmare?
nobody sits at the diner and says, "Hey, man, it's great tonight." Shut up.
Do you have a show that may have happened a long time ago that keeps you up at night, keeps appearing in your dreams?
It doesn't appear in my dreams, but it's always a little not far behind in my head. I was working. I got booked by an agent we all know in New York, who shall remain nameless, at what was then the Garden State Arts Center. It's now the PNC Arts Center. It's this big outdoor arena, 5,000 seats. I mean, every gigantic name in the business played there. So I get a call from him, and he says, "Do you want to work there?" And I go, "Oh." This was in the 80s, I think, or 90s. So who wouldn't want? Who am I opening for? Tony Bennett, Sinatra? Who? Because you're going to be there for Bugs Bunny on Broadway.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Right. So, and I'm thinking it's, they had the big-headed puppets that always danced around. That's what I thought it was. But it wasn't. It was the Warner Brothers Symphony Orchestra playing the soundtrack while the cartoon was playing. It was very, very cool. So I get there, I get comp tickets. I'm giving them out to the whole neighborhood. I must have given out like 30 comp tickets. I'm going to be at the PNC. So I get up there, and it's the middle of summer, August, and I'm dying up there. It's hot. That's the guy's telling me, what I can't do on stage. Don't swear, don't do this, don't do that. And I'm dying 1,000 deaths on stage. Nobody's listening. People are still filing in. They got me on like the auxiliary sound system. About halfway through my set, I hear chanting from way in the back of this amphitheater, right? And I can't make out what they're saying. And it's getting louder and louder. And I stop my act for 1 second to listen. And I hear that they're chanting, "Bring on the effing bunny." Over and over, "Bring on the effing bunny, bring on you." And so now I've been in the business long enough.
You went fishing.
Oh,
you couldn't have got a better story.
That is a great story. So
Yeah.
what happened? Did you finish out your?
I just, my training at Pips had prepared me. I had worked at Pips and many times, and I had been, so it didn't really bother me. I started laughing, but I came off stage, and the guy just was so, he accused me of saying a word that maybe I said out of frustration, but it was awful. The worst part was I had to face my kids.
You had
who were
people
sitting-
there.
Now, let me ask you, you're on stage. Of course, this is maybe the worst gig I have ever heard. Whoever dreamed up putting on a comic before that, but is the orchestra in place, sitting in their chairs?
Yeah, they're right behind
So
you.
they're there. So they're watching. They must have been thoroughly entertained
I'm sure. It was-
by because it's what a nightmare. But these people are there to see orchestral music, and they're cursing, and they're probably there with their children. That's
well, yeah, that's made it even worse. My kids
So-
were there.
So this was so traumatic for you that you decided to change your gender?
That's right. It was a witness identification.
It was all because of Bugs Bunny.
now I'm fascinated. There's an orchestra. Is Bugs singing in the
No. They're
cartoon?
playing the cartoon on a big gigantic screen, right? And the symphony orchestra is playing the soundtrack that you hear, like kill the wabbit, kill the, they're playing the Flight of the Valkyrie, they're doing all of that. It was really kind of cool, except for my part, of course. That was
Kill the comedian. Kill the...
bring
Julia,
on the F and Bonnie.
oh, you are great. We're going to want an encore performance out of you. So we're going to be
Anytime.
bugging you to come on again. You are so terrific. Hey,
I have to get you, Peter, on my podcast.
I
now.
would love it. I would
Oh, you
love
got-
to do
I
that.
really enjoyed doing yours. I
Jackie
really
was great.
enjoyed it.
It's called Comedy Centric, and so we like kind of
Comedy
like
centric. And how do people watch it?
well, anyway, you see a podcast, you can go see it.
Oh,
it's
okay.
just
Comedy
like, yeah.
centric with Julia Scotti.
But I
And
want to
what's
get
your
you on,
partner's
Peter,
name
because
on the show.
huh? Oh, Kathy Caldwell. It's me and Kathy Caldwell. She makes all
Oh,
those.
nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Now,
Yeah.
listen, everybody I know in comedy is so 100% behind you, and you are so funny, and you gotta know. I just want to say it this way. I was going to say we wish you all the success. I'm going to say you go, girl. How about that?
Thanks.
How about that?
Continued
And you too,
success.
guys. Too. I got to
Continue.
say, I'm so happy that I reunited with so many friends from, my previous life. And you guys have been just so welcoming and wonderful. And thank you. I really, really appreciate it. It means a lot.
Oh, well, you're the best. Julia Scotti, we want you again on the
Okay.
show.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank
Thank
you.
Thank you, Julia Scotti. And thank you, Jackie. And I am Peter Bales. And we'll see you next time on Stand Up Memories.
That was a pretty good episode.
A new episode every Wednesday with me, Peter Bales, Jackie the Joke Man Martling, comedians, interesting people. Leave a comment. We'll get what am I saying?
I don't know.
We're gonna get back to you. We will respond to your comment.
Standupmemories.com. If you go there, it shows all the different
All
platforms.
Spotify, we're on everything.
Every Wednesday.
Stand Up Memories,
Every Wednesday.
a new episode. All right.
So that's it,
Julia,
the
that was
show's
great.
done.
Don't go anywhere yet.
No, I won't. I'm
You
here.
want her to do a teaser? Can we get you to? This is
Awesome,
Mike.
Julia, can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right, because I got to talk into their mics. Awesome. That was a wonderful interview. Thank you so much for
Thank
giving
you.
us the time. If you can give me just a little social media clip, just saying, hey, I just got off the Zoom with Stand Up Memories, the guys from Stand Up Memories, and, you know, come up with something,
Get away.
you know, funny.
Get away from me, my cat. All right. Yes, I will. Tell me when.
Go for it.
Go for it.
Oh my God, I just finished I had a guest spot on Stand Up Memories with Peter Bales and Jackie Marley. I can't believe it. It was so much fun. Watch this thing. It's wonderful.
Awesome.
Perfect. Perfect.
You're very generous.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Thank
Come on,
you so
come
much,
on.
guys. When is it air?
We don't know.
We'll have to get in touch with you. We've got a couple of them in the
We're
can right now. So
Okay.
it'll be-
But
it'll
we'll
be a few
definitely,
weeks.
we'll definitely let you know. Any social media you can throw us would be great, but we'll
Yeah,
let you-
well, just give me a link and
yeah,
I'll put it up on my Facebook page. So,
Awesome.
yeah,
Awesome.
all right. Thank you guys for
you
having
got
me.
it. Thank you,
Thanks,
Julia.
Joe.
I'll talk to you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye. I can't.